It's 7 o'clock. I'll call this meeting to order. This is the regular city council meeting. The date is November 6th at 7 o'clock. Our first order of business is pledge allegiance to the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is the consent calendar. You have before you the city council meeting minutes for October 2nd, 2017. Our approval of claims for that a total $135,215.05, which includes electronic check 1932E through 1939 and 1939E through 1941E, and paper checks 133839 through 133872 and 133875 through 133921. And we also have the final pay for our seal coating to the county for $69,310.37. Is there anything that you would like removed from the consent calendar and discussed separately? I'll start with you, Councilman Maroney.
No.
Councilman Mitchell?
No.
Councilman Ball?
No.
Councilman Bucket?
No, sir.
All those in favor of the consent calendar as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent calendar is approved. Our next item is open forum. Anybody wishing to bring anything before the council, please do so at this time. You can come up, give your name, address, and you can address the council. Anybody wishing to speak to the council? Nobody appearing, I will close the open forum. Next item of business is the mayor and city council reports. Every year we have we get reviewed by the Crowing Power Board of Directors for the Municipal Meter Relief Program. The program has been underway for several years now. However, it is evaluated annually. And under the Municipal Meter Relief Program, the city of Breezy Point will have its 14 meters forgiving the normal monthly service fee. In 2017, we will be saving $3,696. And under this program, we have now in the last 22 years saved a little over $35,000. So it's a thank you to Crowing Power. Next we have a request for funds. The cemetery is putting up wreaths and wreath stands for the servicemen at the cemetery, and we're getting the we have the wreaths, correct? We have the stakes, and then we basically we're requesting the. I'm a little confused on this. So we're requesting funds from the Pelican Lakes Conservation Club. Okay. Okay, so they're donating those funds to us.
That's correct.
Okay. And so that's a thank you to the Pelican Lakes Conservation Club. And the next item is we have an opportunity to nominate one person for a 4-year term to the NJPA Board of Directors. We are in Subregion 4, and that person their term is done. So what we're looking for is either a volunteer or a nomination for to be on the NJPA Board of Directors. NJPA, if you're not familiar with it, is the best way to describe it is a organization that does a lot of stuff. They help out the cities, they help out municipalities throughout. They are an excellent resource, and they have a board of directors that comes from a large number of areas throughout the territory that they are in. At this point, I'll entertain anybody that would like to either volunteer or to nominate somebody to be on the NJPA Board of Directors. Anybody?
You're going to start with me?
I'll start with you.
Thank you.
If you care to.
Is the mayor included in that?
Well, I'm already on Region 5 Economic Development Commission.
Would you like to be on another one?
I could be, but
I would like to nominate you, and I'll qualify that a little bit. You've done a lot of work with them, and I agree with you. They are an excellent resource. They're just phenomenal. You have a knowledge of it, Mayor, a good working knowledge, and I would like to see you part of that board. End of story. What are you looking for?
I mean, I'm not looking for myself to be nominated.
I know you're not. I would like to see you there.
Councilman Ball, wait a minute. Would you like to nominate somebody?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of thought into it.
Okay.
Michael being, another senior member here, I'd
Mhm.
probably be somebody that I would look to nominate if he was interested in,
Right.
in that. Yeah.
And that's my own personal opinion, is I would like to see Michael nominated. Yeah.
Michael.
Councilman Mitchell.
Michael.
Michael.
No. So would you reluctantly accept the nomination?
I would accept it. However, I would like to nominate Michael, but
Michael Maroney?
Michael Maroney, yes. If he would accept it, but
Well, I certainly think he would do a good job. I'm open to that.
okay. Mike?
Should have read this more carefully.
Well, this is how I got railroaded into Region 5.
Right.
so.
Monthly meetings, looks like it's evenings somewhere.
Staples.
Staples.
Moon.
My wife would kill me, but seeing how there's going to be other nominations, I would accept that nomination if so appointed.
So I'll accept a motion to nominate Michael Maroney for the NJPA board.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
I don't think it'll do much good at this point.
There's a form that needs to get filled out and needs to be sent in no later than December 18th. And at that point, they review all the qualifications and then they make a decision. So it's not a done deal yet.
Certainly.
But I think you're my choice to be the representative.
I appreciate the vote of confidence from everybody.
I would second that. Not that you're second. I second that. I agree.
Thank you.
Next thing I have is just thought I'd update you on the fire board meeting. We had our quarterly fire board meeting the other day, and the third quarter fire report has 24 fire calls they went out on. 12 were in Pequot Lakes, 5 were in Breezy Point. Probably the biggest hit they had was on the 20th when we had the storm. A lot of trees fell on power lines. This is just basically for information. In case anybody's interested, I have the meeting report here. Next item is there is going to be an elected officials summit held in Brainerd at the Arboretum. It is going to be on November 14th, 2017 at the North Arboretum. Who should be attending? It's city council members, city, county administrators, etc. I went last year. It is very informative. You do get to find out what's going on in the county. So I would encourage council members, city administrators to, if they wanted to go, to contact, and I think you got a copy of this via email this week. Yes. And, Stacy Headley, her email was listed in the email that you got. I would really encourage you to sign up for that. Another thing the chief sent out was winter weather seminar is going to be, so if you wanted to learn about weather from the meteorologist, it's going to be this Thursday, November 9th, 6 o'clock at the Breezy Point Police Department. So it says no pre-registration and all are welcome. So that will be fun. Council members. Councilmember Bakken. Anything to report?
Nothing, a brief comment. Mike Weebold called me about 10 days ago when he got back from his vacation. He queried me on where we at with the Four Corners development, etc. I filled him in as best I could, and he's anxious to get that moving. That's all I can tell you.
Okay.
As I am. Thank you.
Councilman Ball.
Nothing to report.
Nothing? Okay. Councilman Mitchell.
Nothing to report.
Councilman Maroney.
Speaking about NJPA, I did attend their Region 5 Summit. I believe it was on Wednesday, October 25th. Got to hear more about them, a little update from the Capitol, and some other keynote speakers. So it was a well-attended event. I think they said it about doubled or tripled in size from the last year, so very well attended. And I was able to go out there, and Carrie was able to attend, as well as Jerry was out there as well. So had a little education from them that day.
Very good. Next item, Bill. Next item of business is the consultant's report, David Drown Associates. We have two things that we're going to be looking at. The first thing is the classification and compensation study. And is it
Tessa Melvin.
Tessa?
Tessa, yep. I is silent. Confused.
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry that we can't see my phone. It's fabulous. Thank you, Mayor and council members. I'm here tonight to report on the classification and compensation study that David Drown, HR, did for the city of Breezy. We're here to look at, review the classification and compensation, our methodology that we use so you understand the process, discuss project results, present recommendations and implementation strategy, approve revised job descriptions, and then answer any questions. David Drown's, we've been around for 20 years. We particularly work with rural Minnesota. We have practical experience in the public sector, which means all of our management consultants have actually been city or county administrators, which is pretty unique, but really helps when we work with cities and municipalities because we understand their role, we understand staff, and we understand the role of council and boards. Some of our other areas are executive recruitment, performance management, organizational management, and then the other side of our business, DDA, is public finance and economic development. I'm the head of the compensation practice area, and I have over 15 years of experience in city and county government. I was a former city administrator and have a doctorate in public administration. Speaking of NJPA, they were our partner on this, so the total cost of the project was $7,825, and the city only has to pay $325. So NJPA picked up that large portion of that. So that is a real benefit that you guys have. Being in that, they really want it, and we have a partnership, so they will pay for our services when we're working with municipalities. So as a summary, we were hired to complete the classification and compensation study. We updated job descriptions. We reviewed market data of comparable communities. We looked at regionally. We looked at demographics, population, tax capacity. Then we used our job evaluation tool to classify those positions. That'll help with your pay report and maybe internal. So overall, with your current system and the market, when we're interview, Breezy is very within the market. They're slightly above in some areas and need to be more, but for the most part, they were right within the market where they should be. So kudos to Administrator Rupert on being able to keep that in market. There were a couple that were just under that minimum, so that's one of our proposals in how we adjusted the market is to make sure that those positions are up to date. So we first met with the city administrator. We provided all employees their current job description and then what we call a position analysis questionnaire. They reviewed their job description, they completed the form, they gave it to us, we did that market analysis, and then we discussed findings and budget implementation with the city administrator, trying to figure out where we were in alignment and go over what we recommended to make sure it made sense. The position analysis questionnaire allows us to really understand the job. Not all jobs are apples to apples even when you look at the market because of delivery of services, service level. So it looks at the scope of the job, the percent of time and duties that that person does in that position. It looks at education and experience and training that's needed for the position. And when we look at job descriptions, we don't care about people, we care about the position. So if everyone left the city because they won the lottery and you had to hire tomorrow, that's what we're looking for. So we know some people have longevity, some people morphed into their positions. We're strictly looking at the positions. We also look at problem solving, decision making, so how many people do they supervise, what kind of decisions are they making, and what implementation or implication does it have on the budget. Working conditions that they are in, so outside, hazards, stress level, how much they have for deadlines and accuracy, and then the final is supervision. So from there, we updated the job descriptions. We provided them back to the administrator, we provided them back to employees and managers, and tweak things that need to be tweaked, make sure everyone was on the same page. All jobs were updated, and all employees were allowed to, if they had any appeals, let us know if we did not have any. The only significant changes to the job description is we combined the old heavy equipment operator and wastewater operator to one position called public works worker. And then a new position was added, the associate planner. So those are in your packet. That was the only significant change that we made. So benchmark communities, we did send it to the personnel committee to approve. It was the city of Emily, Baxter, Pequot Lakes, Nisswa, Crosby, Cross Lake, Staples, Aiken, Walker, and so our market analysis, we kind of have a three-pronged approach. We collect data from the League of Minnesota Cities, which all cities report their salary data, or they're supposed to. Then we actually take those benchmark communities and we survey them on the jobs to see what they truly are paying in case things have changed. And then we look at total compensation, so benefits. So what kind of benefits? Health insurance, dental insurance. Are there other additional wages or benefits like on-call pay, callback pay, uniform, anything like that, so we can compare apples to apples when we're looking at total compensation. Next, we did our classification of the job. So our tool, we look at those qualifications, the educational experience, again, the decision-making, problem-solving, relationships. So who are they working with? How often are they working with them? And what are they doing? Are they managing vendor contracts? Are they just making people get directed to the right what kind of effort, mental and physical, and then those conditions and hazards. So our system is very similar to the current system that the city has. It was created by George DeMont, and that's where we kind of took ours from and where we created it. The only big difference was change in the now, which would be the public works worker, went from 7 to an 8. And it works super good. Went from a 9 to a 10. And those were just adjustments based on what their job description requirements were, and we wanted to make sure they were fair internally, but then also externally in the market. So with the new system, you're right in line. We adjusted it. For the most part, the city of Breezy Point is slightly above the market in its pay, but the benefits aren't. So we kind of look at that total compensation. It equals out. We understand for recruitment and retainment, you want to definitely be within the market because losing people and not being able to fill those positions is critical to the services and the service level that you do provide. So what we're proposing is a 10-step pay structure, which is currently what the city has with 18 steps. The only difference this structure would have is it looks like the pay scale has step 11 and 12, but in reality at 10 years you would get 2% for longevity pay, and then at the 20 years you would get another 2% for longevity pay. That's a way to address longevity pay. It's a clean system that can be adjusted to the market as it changes, and employees can see where they move along the steps and then when longevity kicks in. If you look at the market average, it's hard to do apples to apples with the market because you have employees that haven't been here as long as the market. So in the market, you might have someone 40 years and someone here 10. So not a real apples to apples. If you move all your employees up to what the current market is currently paying in those positions and those surrounding, it would cost $30,000. But like I said, we don't recommend that because you have some that are less tenure versus the market. But everyone wants to know where we would fall into the market. For the overall, we're right at that market or slightly above for the city of Breezy Point, and that's where you want to be. One of the questions that we are asking the council to consider, maybe not today, but when they talk about future, is that pay philosophy. Where does the city want to be in relation to the market? Is it at 100%, 85%, 75% when you look at the total compensation? Those are things to consider. The market minimum pay, so what the least amount is being paid in the market, you had two positions that were just slightly under. In order to move those up, it was $2,800 difference to move those up to the minimum. We would recommend that that's a priority. The city would want to at least pay what the market is. And then we did a cost, if you moved everyone into the new system or the revised system because they're so similar, it would cost $19,364. It doesn't consider their COLA, and now some people might get a 5% or 5-cent increase, and some might get a 10-cent because we're placing them in the system based on their current wage. So the fourth option, which is in your report, is to put them place them in the system and then move them to the next step. That ensures everyone gets at least a 3% that can cover your COLA, and that would be $31,990. So you have four options before you. The minimum market, if you do 3 or 4, is covered, so that is taken care of. You could also do option 3 and say we're going to move everyone to the system this year for $19,000, and then do whatever your cost of living is, and then next year they would continually move. The benefit of this is everyone stays within a step, so there's room to grow for all pay ranges, and it just keeps in that market check to make sure that we're paying equitably outside the market. And then with this, if this is approved, we'll run the equity test, make sure that we'll be able to adjust it with the new position and then that combined position, so we can justify what happened, and all that paperwork will be done for the city so they don't have to do that. And then we will give the system to the city if they want to evaluate their own jobs. So we're going to pass system. We'll do that training so that when you have a new position or one changes, it can be done internally. Otherwise, we're always happy to help out and do that. So just ongoing administration for the council and board management to consider is that pay philosophy for the city where you want to be in relation to the market. I would suggest looking at total compensation, which is provided in the report, creating a plan, kind of illustrating the benefits, and then looking at your employee handbook and making the necessary changes for any decisions that are made with actions for today is one, to approve those job descriptions, so the council can approve them all in one motion. You can take ones out that you want to discuss, if you want to deny or do that. And then at that point, go ahead with the study of the classifications or the pay structure, pick an option, and then the employees have one more chance to appeal. So with their classification, they either stayed the same or improved, but they could say, no, I think you missed something in my job description, and I don't feel like I've been classed, so then I would have to reevaluate that and bring it back to the city council. Questions? I threw a lot at you.
Okay,
I have
and I will have to say, we really didn't have a whole lot of chance to look through this. We didn't get it until just the other day. Councilman Maroney, I'll start with you since you're on the Personnel Committee. Do you have any questions for Tessa at this time, or?
Yeah, what? No. As the mayor alluded, it is a lot of information to take in. I'm very much a visual guy, so I appreciate all this. What I would be looking for is potentially taking like the new pay chart, compared against where we are, seeing where people are slotted to, where they would potentially be moving to, what the fiscal responsibility is. I almost would prefer to see it go back to the Personnel Committee so we can dig deeper into this. I think it looks great. I want to move forward with it. I just want to make due diligence, potentially even from there, push it to the Finance Committee, have them look at, is it a budget concern if we can do it in 2018? Do we have to work our way to 2019 budget? When can it get slotted? And then come back as a Personnel Committee and Finance Committee back to the full council with a game plan. Immediate questions. You mentioned option number 1 was current market average pay, and that would be moving everybody to where their current steps are.
know what the current market is paying for those positions.
So like
if
you
you
said,
look at
40
Public
year.
Works in another city and you average it out, it would be that. But the problem with that is you don't consider longevity. They might have supervision and responsibility, so it's not always truly apples to apples.
Okay, so in your opinion, option 1 is, it's out there but not really advisable?
Right.
Okay, and it sounded like you're more in line with, obviously number 2 makes sense to me, but number 3 is placing them into the current pay plan
Yep.
as it is today.
Yep, and the pay plan is very similar to where you guys have. We haven't changed the percentage between steps or the percentage between grades. All we did was make the market adjustment to make sure you're competitive externally. So the pay thing, if you looked at your current one, it would look very, very similar. So the third one is just saying we're gonna plop them in this year, but that means that if I was making $16.50 and the step was, the next step would be $16.53, I might only get 3 cents.
Yep.
But then you could get a cost of living. The option 4 would mean I would move not to that $16.53, but the next one, which might be $17.25. So everyone's getting at least a 3% increase there and into the system. So that's kind of the difference between option 3 and 4.
So the pay chart you suggested would not be considering any potential COLA that we'd be pushing forward for in 2018?
It can. It depends how you implement it. Like if you did 3, you could do your COLA.
On top of that?
Yep. And then
Okay.
everyone would have that consistent COLA. So it depends how you want to implement it. We just like to lay it out so you can say, yep, this makes sense, or we're only going to do 3 this year in 2018 and 2019 we're going to move them to the next step because of budget, or because of COLA or.
Certainly. That sounds like a lot of calculations in Excel.
And I have what you just said. I actually have it plotted out where the new system is, where they fall in, so you can see the progression.
Okay.
So if that's something that the finance or personnel committee wants to see, I can share all of that.
And that was going to be my follow-up question. Is this done on your behalf? Are you done with us now, or you still help us with the implementation part of it?
I'm not done until you're happy.
Okay.
So that's the one difference that you won't get with other consultants. We don't just do the study, we try to help you implement it. So if it goes to the finance committee and they say, well, we want to tweak it, we want to change the percent from 2.5, between the steps to 3, I'll do that for you so that he doesn't, or your administrator doesn't have to do all of that. I'll turn all the documents over, but I want to make sure that you get it. Now, I don't do the implementation, I don't have money that I can give you, but I will help you get it.
Okay, that's all the questions I have at this moment.
Yeah, just, I think maybe just for a point of clarification, basically what you're looking for here is an approval on basically the first 23 pages of this study as the work product that you are giving us to give us the framework to move forward. And then you have the job descriptions, and then you want us to see us to approve those.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically a two-part thing. And how we actually implement it would be up to our personnel committee, and you can provide us with any assistance. But the bulk part of this, you're saying the bulk part of the work is done. This is what we have to work, the framework that we have to work with right now.
But how you want to implement it, we will totally help with that. And we help the next year if you want to do the market adjustment to the scale, what that looks like. We're here to help, so.
Okay. Does that help you out, Mike, I think? Councilman Mitchell?
Just a couple. Based on your research and your knowledge of the system, is there any one of these option 3, 4 that you guys are recommending? Do you have?
I mean, 4 is the best because it puts everyone in the system and it moves them at the same time. But it's all budget impacted, so what the city feels comfortable with. I would say 3 is a good word to start because you're putting them in the system. You adjust for those that were under the market. And then with the cost of living, you're still guaranteeing everyone gets at least that COLA increase for this year, and next year they can see their progression. Now, as an employee, of course, option 4 is better because I get the step plus. But if you look at the overall picture, the fact that we're extending the steps because of the market, because that's really what's happening on some of the top end jobs, they have more addition to grow. So their top 5 continues to grow. And then the market min, we adjusted that just to make sure when you recruit for that position, you're able to get qualified people and to do the service level that you want. So.
All right. The other thing, I agree with Mike, we need to discuss it and look at it.
Councilman Ball, the other member of our personnel committee.
Yeah, I agree with Councilman Maroney that it's a good idea to take it back and take a look at it, make sure what we can afford for sure. But I agree, I think 3 or 4 seem like good options. And I didn't, from what I saw, the job descriptions, I didn't have any concerns with them.
Councilman?
Ditto, pretty much, with a little side mark. We have to pay our people, as we all know, a retaining wage. And you did an excellent job of that. I really appreciate that. Helped me navigate that as best I could. I'm looking forward to hear what you guys bring back, and I feel the city's in pretty good shape to take care of our people, period.
Okay. So what I'm looking for here is a motion to accept the plan, and what I'm looking for is concurrence that the plan provides us with the information and the framework we need to move forward and implement the plan. So that's the first part. And then we'll have a second motion to accept the job descriptions.
Motion on the first, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion. Councilman Marody?
Just for clarification on plan, you're defining the plan being the paperwork, the material, and the data that we have in front of us for 1 through 23.
Yes. Yep.
Not the paid plan.
Not the actual.
Right.
just
How we
the
actually
implementation
implement the paid
options.
plan is going to be
Okay.
reviewed by both personnel and the finance committee.
As long as the plan is defined as the actual data.
Correct.
I have
That's
no-
what I'm looking for.
No
Yep.
issues, no
Okay.
comments.
Councilman Mitchell.
Oh, I'm satisfied.
Councilman Ball. Councilman Bakken.
I made the
Okay.
motion.
All those in favor of approving the plan, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next, we have the job descriptions, and I'll have to admit, I did not read through all of these since I just got them here.
And they were very minor changes. They have
Um,
been up to date.
That's what I'm observing,
Yeah.
yeah.
We just wanted to make sure that managers, so when you do the position analysis part, you and the employee fill it out, but then your manager has to sign off. So I can't self-promote myself and say, oh, I manage 5 people and I'm responsible. So it's a check and balance.
Right. So basically, this is to approve the job descriptions as they are written right now. These are not cast in concrete. We can pretty much change them. So it's a starting point.
It is a starting point.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to try to word it properly. By accepting these jobs, I have no problem with the current job descriptions. However, we have combined our public works, and I'm going to draw a blank on the two department official titles to public works worker.
Right.
That does slate them to a different grade. If we accept the job description, are we saying that those employees would be slotted into that description as of today then, and therefore do that pay grade increase? If so, I'd like the personnel committee to just review it first. I've got no problem with the job descriptions
Right.
as written. I just don't want to accept them and implement them until the personnel committee meets and comes back to the council in December.
And the way I would understand it is that all of the job descriptions would go hand in hand with the implementation of the new plan. So, in other words, the plan goes to personnel, goes to finance for approval, as well as the job descriptions go along with it.
Good?
The grades aren't on here yet, so I don't know if that was something that can change or.
By accepting the job descriptions, are we saying that our employees are now under these job descriptions? Okay.
Because the grades are determined by the pay structure. So if that adjusts, the grades change. So all, at this point, they got changed because of the duties. We have to wait for that pay plan to come out. And then when we say the employee can appeal it, they can appeal the classification only. They can't appeal compensation because the council sets the compensation. But they could say, hey, I think that I fit more in the job family of a 9.
That makes sense. The one classification is the public works worker, because they are at an 8 and going to a 9 with the new job descriptions.
7 to an 8.
7 to an 8. Does accepting these put them into an 8 today?
No.
Okay.
Because the grades, the ranges of the grade is determined upon the pay plan, that has not been final.
Okay.
So it's all subject to the discussion.
It is,
and the
yep.
research that.
Yep.
Then I'll make the motion to accept the job descriptions as written.
Second.
All at this point, if you accept them, we could send them back to the employees and say, this is where it's at.
And they can review them.
Yep, to make sure we didn't miss anything.
Okay?
I made that motion.
Motion second, okay. Further discussion? Councilman Browning, Councilman Mitchell, Councilman Ball, Councilman Bakken.
No, sir?
All those in favor of accepting the job descriptions as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Discussions or the plan and the job descriptions are approved.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you. And, Mr. Mayor, so we're going to make sure that all job descriptions are given to all employees that they would qualify for review.
However, the personnel committee.
We've already seen them all. But we can give them a new copy.
Yes. I'll defer that to the personnel committee, Mike.
Joe will talk tomorrow.
Next item of business is the administrator search first steps. Every one of us have met with Gary and discussed what we want in the new administrator, and we all said we want Joe again. So we'll go from there. Gary, please.
So this will be an easy job,
Yes.
and we just gotta figure out a way to clone him. Well, I'll work on that. So thank you for the opportunity to be back with you this evening. Good to see you all again. Enjoyed my trip here. Saw several deer on the way, managed to not hit any of them, so I'm grateful for that blessing on the way up. So a couple of things to talk with you tonight about is, first of all, is a profile document. You have that in your packet that's been prepared based on input received from you all, as well as just information gathered as part of our ordinary research. A couple of things I'll call your attention to in that document. The attributes and goals sections came directly from the conversations that occurred with all of you on the day that I was here a couple of weeks ago. So that's the origin of that information. Joe has had an opportunity to review this and provide some very useful feedback to us as well. So with that said, I guess it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to go through that in detail. Maybe what I can do is just hear your concerns, if there are any issues you have, any changes you'd like to see made. Otherwise, we can move forward with the profile document and then talk about some of the other items as well, process-wise.
Okay, and again, we haven't had a whole lot of time to review this, but I'll start with you, Councilman Bakken. Do you have any questions for Gary at this point?
No, not at this time. Move along.
Councilman Ball?
No questions, I think it looks really good.
Thank you.
Councilman Mitchell?
I suggest you number the pages, so when you bring up a subject, all you can say on page 3 or 5 or 8. That way we don't have to keep going through and looking at the titles.
Councilman Maroney?
No, it's a very good advertisement. Really good.
Okay, thank you.
So,
All right, couple of things to just call your attention to in there. So based on your earlier discussion you just had about your new pay system, it seems to me that we would want to use the current salary range in the advertisement, which is what is in here. So and even when the day comes where you adopt new ones, that new schedule doesn't deviate very much from what this is. So it's not going to make much difference. But I'm feeling, since you haven't taken any action on a new salary, we would just move forward with this one for now, since that's what's in place. The other thing that I will mention in here is that the other thing I'd like to talk to you a little bit about is dates. There are a couple of very key dates in this process. The first I have targeted as January 2nd. That's actually a Tuesday night. You normally meet Mondays, but I'm assuming you're not going to meet on January 1st.
Correct.
Yeah, so you'd meet that next day. That would be when I would come with all of the background information on all of the semi-finalists, if you will, and that would be the point where the council would determine who you want to bring in for interviews. Prior to that, obviously, we'd be doing the advertising for about a month. Then people would go through they would complete a questionnaire. That's the current plan, complete a questionnaire, a personality index, and then you'd see all that information in advance of the January 2nd meeting. On January 2nd, you'd pick, say, 5 people approximately to come in for the final interviews, which would be slated for January 25th. So those are 2 dates that I'd like to at least reinforce with you. If those still sound good to you, they can be changed by you all later, but I like to have them in the actual advertisement so people who are considering the position kind of lock in, oh yeah, they're looking at doing interviews on January 25th. So those dates seem okay for folks?
they seem appropriate to everybody?
Tough for me.
Both?
Second is bad for
Oh,
me.
January 2nd?
Yeah, I don't want to miss that.
Mm-hmm.
That part or part of the process. I'm going to have to squirm to get.
Is it the type of thing you're going to be out of town or something
Yes.
like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. My sister. I'll go along with it. I'll see what I can do to.
I'd like to keep
You
it
can't
that
run
way.
the world around me, for God's sake.
Okay.
But I don't want to miss that. That's
Okay.
crucial and critical
Right.
for me. No flexibility in that date at all.
Well, on my part, there is.
All right.
That would be able to move a little bit. I mean, if we push it back too far,
No.
Then we move the interview
Matter of a
dates.
couple, 2-3 days.
that would be more up to you all than me. So I certainly could do it. I'd have to check my calendar just to make sure, but I think I'm open the rest of that week.
Well, this has to be done at a council meeting, so we'd
Right.
be looking at having a special council meeting
Right.
if we had to do that.
All right. You have a problem with that?
Um,
No?
no,
As long as it's not in
Geez, I
February.
hate to call in all my markers, Mr. Mayor.
because coming in February, we're gonna have,
Yeah, yeah.
With the 4th, with Thursday the 4th.
The later the better, yeah. Third, fourth, yes. Yes, and, gosh, Friday, I could have an answer for you I got a wife that's in the Middle East right now, checking oil wells, and a tenuous situation, that's not your problem, it's mine. I would appreciate that leeway if I could get it. Do we have to make it firm tonight, in which case I'll modify?
well,
I'm open for, that we can communicate back to Joe. I know, just personal, I am out of town from the 6th through the 14th.
Okay, well, fourth, it sounds really good to me. How do you want to work that, Mr. Mayor? Do we have to
Let's see.
give this guy?
well, we need to come up with at least a target date if the 2nd is not gonna work for you, and the 6th through the 14th is not gonna work for Mike. So it has to be that first week.
So would that fourth be
The fourth?
the council meeting as well, or are you
No.
gonna have
Council
It'd be
meeting
a
two
special
is
meetings?
on the 2nd.
Special?
The council meeting
Okay.
will still be on the 2nd.
Okay,
But we would have a special meeting on the 4th
Okay.
to discuss only the business associated with
How many,
the candidates.
if I can just ask a question, how many people or folks would you bring for them to select from for the interviews?
Probably about 10 to 12,
Okay,
depends
It's gonna be
on the size of the group.
It's gonna be an extensive meeting.
Well,
Yeah.
not necessarily. So, I routinely do this as part of a regular council meeting. So, sometimes it takes 15 minutes, sometimes it takes 45. Usually if I'm part of a regular meeting, I always say, put it last, so that it doesn't slow you down for any other business that you might have going on. But, you know, the process doesn't always take very long. So I just throw that out there, because a lot of times you look at these people and you're on a similar page about what you're thinking. So
So
I'm just,
essentially, you'd be bringing in a list of candidates that are kind of pre-ranked.
I will have reduced, let's just say we have 30 applicants, I will reduce it to about 10 or 12. Those 10 or 12, you'll get a week before, at least a week before this meeting, where you'll be able to review all the background materials and come to that meeting prepared to actually select people.
Yes.
So you're doing all your, the hard work is being done before you get to the meeting, partly because this is a public meeting. You can't talk publicly about the candidates in the public meeting because their identities are protected. So I give you a number system to talk about people. It's very challenging, but it's the way it has to be done because those people can't be identified until they're selected for interview. So, I give you all that information by way of saying, sometimes it moves very quick because a lot of times people emerge, people rise to the top, people sink to the bottom. It's just what happens.
do you have a projected time, a date for the interviews?
25th of January.
Okay, because I'll be gone the month of February, but 25th of January.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, would that be the same time? Is it like 7 still, the special?
you can set it
We can set
anytime.
whatever time we want, but I typically would say 7 if that's convenient for everybody.
Sometimes we meet at 5 if that's more convenient for folks.
Yeah. We'll figure out the time, the actual time, day, maybe a little bit later. But I think what
Thank
I
you,
want to
Tess.
do right now is determine that Thursday, the January 4th would be our target date for the presentation.
Thank you.
I'm moving for the 4th or 5th.
Okay.
As long,
Good.
I think that the more we can have here, I'm all for having a
Correct,
special
that's
meeting.
what I wanted to
Yep,
do too.
yep.
So,
Fourth is good, thank you
So-
very, very much.
do we all want to get to Joe our timetables for the 4th and 5th, and then he can suggest a date and time with what all
Yes.
our availabilities are?
Yep.
So you're saying 4th or 5th?
No, I'm saying, I think we could pick the 4th. I don't want to do it on a Friday night.
Fourth, thank you.
So the 4th would be Thursday.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And we'll discuss the time of day.
Yeah.
Because there's feeding schedules and stuff like that
Yes.
that we have to work around.
Thank you.
It's gonna cost you,
Yeah.
it's gonna cost you a Dairy Queen.
That was like pulling teeth.
Okay, so,
Good.
the change to the schedule will be to present the candidates on January 4th. Everything else will remain as is, at least at this point.
Right. And I will use the newly adopted job description that you adopted again. I don't think that's changed very much.
Not really.
I will use the current job description, we'll use the current, or I mean, the new job description and the current salary range.
Okay. So do we need a motion or anything like that at this point? think
I don't believe so.
I believe so, yes. Okay. Any other questions for Gary? Okay.
So-
Well, thank you much.
Yep, you're
And
welcome.
we'll-
We will advertise the position starting tomorrow.
Right.
It'll get all advertised and pretty extensively.
We'll move forward.
Point of clarification, I know the 4th is set, the 25th. Any idea of the timeframes that we'd be looking for interviews?
So I would
All day thing?
I would say for council commitment, plan on at least from noon on. Noon on. And on means into the evening, depending on, we'll talk about what you want to do for interviews. It'll somewhat depend on what you want to integrate, but I'd say noon after.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Gary.
All right, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Move forward. Next item of business is to consider the donation of a tactical shotgun. We have a Breezy Point resident that has decided he has a shotgun he no longer needs and wishes to donate it to the police department for the tax benefit rather than trying to sell it on the open market. It's valued at $990 and is in excellent shape. The resident is aware that once the item is accepted, we can actually sell it if we deem necessary. However, we have plans to have it assigned to Officer Dwyer, because he currently does not have one. And so I'll accept a motion, or entertain a motion to accept the donation for the tax.
Second.
For the tax purposes. Second.
Yes, sir.
Further discussion?
No, none, thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The donation of the shotgun is accepted. Thank you very much. I'll get a letter off to him to recognize that. Thank you. Next item is a public works upgrade to the grader, our motor grader for a rotating bit system. To be totally honest, I've never heard of a rotating bit for a road grader before, but it sounds like it's a good deal. It is going to reduce fuel consumption, and it's easier on the operator. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the motion, or to entertain a motion to accept the purchase of the Pecal System 2000 from H&L Masabi for $4,263.06.
So, second.
Discussion? Councilman Maroney, Councilman Baca? Road committee?
Wait.
Oh,
You
yes.
said Baca.
It's all right. Just number two. I've been demoted to 2.
Yeah, I want to compliment Joe for a really thorough description of
Yes.
this thing, so we understand exactly what it's doing.
Yeah. Looks like a good toy.
Yep.
Knuckleball?
No, I don't.
Nothing,
Baca,
sir.
this
Nothing.
time. We'll accept the, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We can go ahead and purchase the rotating bit system, or whatever you want to call it.
Toy is probably not a good choice of words.
Well, that completes our agenda. The meeting is adjourned.
Thanks for your cooperation, folks. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't ask for it if I didn't need it.
I'm just gonna pocket that IOU, right?
That's right. You put it in there, Mike.
County's already asking for seal coating projects for next year.
Those picked out.
I'm glad
Well,
that-
we had a schedule planned for the next 2 years, so.
Well, I'm just curious, do you think that'll be after, we'll past 5:30?